What is up, replay viewer? Glad that you are here. I am heading into work, gonna drop my son off at preschool and then off to the office. And so there's been a lot of talk about people leaving the faith, you know, denying Christ. And you know, I think there's a good way to handle it and a bad way to handle it. And we have to understand, and we need to wrap our minds around the parable of the soils. Okay? We need to wrap our minds around the parable of the sower, especially in Matthew chapter 13. It's in most of the gospel. So an apostate, good question, Angela. An apostate is someone who claimed Christ and then turned their back on Christ, denies Christ. So like Bart Ehrman is an apostate. Jehaziel is an apostate. He's a Christian rapper, or former Christian rapper, whatever. But the way that we deal with these things, we need to understand the parable of the soils. Yeah, I'm not bashing anybody right here. I'm talking to Christians specifically, because what ends up happening is people do like to bash them. People like to you know, criticize them. That's not my job. That's not my role here at all. Okay, yeah, no, it is all over the place. There is, it depends. I believe that's Mama Rena. It depends. There are some apostates. There are some people who have left the faith and they get extremely vocal about it, right? And they want other people to follow them in their apostasy, in their denial of Jesus Christ. Those people definitely deserve criticism. However, there are people who are genuinely, they're trying to work it out, right? They're trying to figure it out, and they maybe don't have the strength to do it anymore. They understand what they're rejecting, which is a huge thing. If they understand what they're rejecting, you know, there's not much you can say. But recently Kid Jop, Ricky, did a scope, and I listened to it this morning. I watched it this morning. And what I saw in the comments of his scope were people trying to reach out to him through their comments on his scope. And we have to understand that isn't how we're gonna reach people who are struggling with their faith. We need people in our lives that can correct us, that can encourage us, right? So being in a body of faith that is Bible-centered, right, that seeks to glorify Christ and all that it does, that's where you need to be. Moreover, we need to understand the parable of the sower, right? So Jesus teaches that the sower goes out and he throws the seed, right? He throws the seed. Some of it lands on the path and gets eaten by the birds. Some of it lands in the dry ground and it ends up getting scorched by the sun. It grows very slightly, it gets scorched by the sun. Some of it lands in the thorns and it grows, and then the thorns choke it out. Some of it lands on good soil and it grows and bears fruit. We need to remember this. We need to have that in mind when we hear people talking about Jesus, right? And so even for me, right, I could sit here and tell you, right, I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. He has me in his hand. He's never going to let go of me. But you don't know my heart. You don't know my heart. Only God does. And we create idols out of people who we like, who we admire, who we see and they say good things, they seem to do good things. And we create these people into idols, and that's what really makes apostasy such a captivating thing. Because how could this person deny Christ? How could this person turn their back on Christ? How could this person leave the church? Well, it's because you didn't really know their heart, right? Because you didn't know the soil that they were. And we need to be quick to extend mercy to people. We need to be quick to extend grace, but we also need to understand, just because there's growth does not mean that they are going to endure to the end, right? And we need to love apostates. We need to criticize apostates when they act foolish, when they try to pull other people down into their apostasy. Oh yeah, Jana, I don't sugarcoat anything. I don't sugarcoat anything. I don't know. I heard things on that scope, and you know, this is not my place to talk about Ricky, okay? And that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm talking about in general. He said things that were very telling. I know, right? I know that that Jesus is Lord. I'm just deciding not to follow him. I've been struggling with sin for a long time. These are things, and it doesn't mean we don't struggle with sin, but if we don't see growth from that sin, if it becomes habitual, a habit, we know that there's something wrong, right? Our hearts haven't been changed. And those are some telling signs to me. What I wouldn't do is go onto his scope and try to comment to him through the scope, especially when you see how many people were on there live sharing their comments, right? He's not going to get around to reading all those, right? There are much better ways. Yep, mama. Yep, it definitely breaks my heart. I have a heart for that kid. You know, I wish and I hope, I pray that God will reach down and touch his heart. But I'm talking about mainly in general apostasy. You know, we see it all the time. His name is Kid Jop. His name's Ricky. I don't know exactly how you can find him, Adam. But regardless, there are a lot of people, and this is why, guys, this is why Bart Ehrman, well, I watched the scope. And he wasn't reading all the comments. This is why Bart Ehrman gets such a following. Bart Ehrman wouldn't get a following unless he claimed to be a believer. Unless he claimed that he was a Christian back in the day. If he didn't work with Bruce Metzger, and some of you don't know who that is, that's fine, a textual critic, he wouldn't have the following he has today. He wouldn't be selling millions of books like he is today. Okay, Sydney, I might have to check. Did they record that? I don't know if they did or not. But anyway, guys, I'm at work. They didn't record it. Okay. They didn't record it. And I'm at work. I'm at my son's preschool. But here's the deal. We need to be open and honest about this stuff. We need to address it. We can't shy away from it. We need to encourage believers. We need to do a better job of walking with believers, teaching them and training them in righteousness. And at the end of the day, you know, there's seed that's going to fall on good soil and on bad. And we need to be people who understand that. And we understand people are going to leave the church. They left us because they were never truly of us. And it's heartbreaking and it's really difficult because we can't read people's hearts. And we don't know what truly lies within them. So, yeah, no problem. So God bless you guys. We will catch you later.